Xu Qiliang, comrade, member of the 18th and 19th CPC Central Political Bureau and former vice chairman of the Central Military Commission, passed away. Xu Qiliang, comrade, member of the 18th and 19th Central Political Bureau of the Communist Party of China and former vice chairman of the Central Military Commission, passed away at 12 noon on the 2nd of June 2025 in Beijing due to illness. At noon on June 2, former vice chairman of the Central Military Commission, Xu Qiliang, died of a heart attack. Many people may only know Zhang Yuxia, but not Xu Qiliang. Put it this way, in front of Xu Qiliang, Zhang Yuxia could only be considered a junior brother. It can be said that Xu Qiliang was the very first and greatest contributor to Xi Jinping's seizure of military power back then. Xu Qiliang was only 75 years old this year, which is still relatively young among CCP leaders. At this turbulent and eventful moment for the CCP's military system, Xu Qiliang's sudden death has added yet another layer of fog to the already complex situation. People naturally associate him with former CCP Premier Li Keqiang, who also died suddenly of a heart attack at the age of 69. Was there some unseen secret behind his death? Was it suicide, being scared to death, or natural death? So today, we will talk about who Xu Qiliang was and whether there was any hidden secret behind his passing. Xu Qiliang once said during a meeting with Kissinger that Dr. Kissinger was an important promoter and witness of the development of China-US relations. Practice has proven that the essence and future of China-US relations should be mutual respect and seeking common ground while reserving differences. Xu Qiliang was born in 1,950 inches, Linghui County, Shandong Province. At the age of 16, he participated in the selection examination for pilot recruitment, was selected, and then joined the army. In his early years, there were rumors that Xu Qiliang was the child of Xu Xiu. Others claim that Xu Qiliang was the child of Xu Lefu, former deputy political commissar of the Air Force, because Xu Lefu was also from Linghui, Shandong. But in fact, the Zhu family had been farmers for generations, and Xu Qiliang was a genuine farmer's son. Xu Qiliang later became one of the most outstanding pilots trained by the PLA in its early years. During Deng Xiaoping's military parade, he once flew aircraft formations over Tiananmen Square for an aerial performance. In a military system that emphasizes step-by-step promotion, he repeatedly broke age records for promotion among his peers. He became the fastest promoted PLA general after reform and opening up. At 33, he became a division commander. At 34, he was appointed deputy commander of the 4th Air Army. He was widely recognised across the entire army as an outstanding young commanding talent. He was sent to the National Defence University for further studies. After returning, he was transferred to the 8th Air Army as deputy commander and chief of staff. In 1990, he became commander of the 8th Air Army. In 1993, his career reached a critical turning point. That year, he was promoted 2 levels in succession, jumping from commander of the 8th Air Army to deputy chief of staff of the Air Force, and then to chief of staff of the Air Force, becoming a deputy level commander of a military region in one move. Moving from full army level to deputy military region level is a major hurdle in the promotion path of military commanders. Many people cannot cross it in their entire lives, yet Xu Qiliang completed this dangerous leap in just 3 years. This opportunity was inseparable from the work carried out during Zhang Zhen's tenure in the Central Military Commission. At the 14th Party Congress in 1992, Liu Huaqing and Zhang Zhen were appointed vice chairman of the Central Military Commission. Before the convening of the 14th Party Congress, Deng Xiaoping met with the two of them and said that the most important task in these years was to select successors. A group of people in their 40s and 50s should be selected across the entire army and placed in positions for training. Personnel selection could not rely entirely on routine step-by-step usage. Some individuals must be exceptionally promoted, otherwise they would never rise. For particularly outstanding individuals, one must have the courage to promote them. They should be cultivated in the process of promotion. Under Zhang Zhen's direct guidance, the General Political Department quickly produced a 3-year plan to strengthen leadership teams at and above the army level. The core idea was that starting from 1993, the cultivation and selection of young cadres would be accelerated to achieve rejuvenation of leadership teams at and above the army level. During Jiang Zemin's period of leading the military, Xu Qiliang continued to be heavily utilised. In 1999, the Central Military Commission chaired by Jiang Zemin approved the National Defence University to run a cadre training class, commonly known as the Dragon class, selecting 30 cadres at or above full army level from across the entire army to attend. Among the three from the Air Force were Air Force Deputy Political Commissar Liu Yazhou and Xu Qiliang, then commander of the Air Force in the Shenyang military region. Liu Yazhou was the son-in-law of CCP elder Li Xianyan, who was one of the main patrons behind Jiang Zemin's rise. Therefore, Jiang Zemin paid close attention to Liu Yazhou, while Liu Yazhou, in turn, held Xu Qiliang in extremely high regard. Liu Yazhou said that Commander Xu had great bearing, broad-mindedness, and political acumen. I say that I am the one among political cadres who understands the military best, while Commander Xu is the one among military cadres who understands politics. Liu Yazhou even told then Director of the General Political Department Xu Shihu that if Xu Qiliang were forced to retire young while serving as a deputy military region-level officer, it would be a joke for the CCP's army. Correspondingly, Liu Yazhou did not think highly of Xi Jinping. Of course, in the end, he also paid the price for his arrogance. In 2004, Jiang Zemin's final year as chairman of the Central Military Commission, Xu Qiliang was promoted to Deputy Chief of the General Staff, breaking the tradition that this position was held exclusively by army generals. When the Hu Jintao era arrived, Xu Qiliang's good fortune still did not end. In August 2007, the Peace Mission 2007 Joint Military Exercise was officially launched. China's military conducted joint exercises with Russia and 4 Central Asian countries, with Hu Jintao, Putin, and other heads of state observing. The joint exercise was extremely successful. After the exercise, Xu Qiliang, the chief director on the Chinese side, made a special report to Hu Jintao and received Hu's approval. Soon afterward, Xu Qiliang was appointed commander of the Air Force and promoted to the rank of full general. At the 17th Party Congress in 2007, Xi Jinping was promoted to the Standing Committee of the Political Bureau, while Xu Qiliang was smoothly elected as a member of the Central Military Commission, becoming one of the main leaders of the military. On the eve of the 17th Party Congress, Xu Qiliang once again pledged loyalty to Hu Jintao. At a seminar organised by the Air Force to study and implement General Secretary Hu's important speeches, he emphasised that Hu Jintao's speeches provided fundamental guidance and a roadmap for action, and that military development must be carried out in accordance with Hu Jintao's instructions. In November 2012, while the 7th plenary session of the 17th Central Committee formally announced Xi Jinping's succession, it also decided to add Xu Qiliang as vice chairman of the Central Military Commission, elevating him to the ranks of party and state leaders and beginning his 10-year period of leading the entire military. We can see that no matter which leader was in power, Xu Qiliang was always heavily relied upon. First, this was because of his organisational abilities and solid military competence. After all, any leader must ensure the ability to win wars. Second, Xu Qiliang had high emotional intelligence, understood politics, and was able to maintain good relations with leaders of every generation. His promotion was also inseparable from Xu Keiho. Xu Keiho once said that among senior generals, only 2 people had never given him money, and those 2 were neither Xu Qiliang nor Zhang Yuxia. Moreover, the amount of money involved would not have been less than 20 million yuan. Although Xu Qiliang's promotion was inseparable from Hu Jintao and may also have involved dealings with figures like Xu Keiho, his personal relationship with Xi Jinping was even closer. As early as the 5-year period from 1988 to 1993, when Xu Qiliang was leading the 8th Army and stationed in Fuzhou, Xi Jinping was serving successively as Secretary of the Ningde Prefectural Party Committee and Secretary of the Fuzhou Municipal Party Committee. Even today, photographs can still be found of Xi Jinping, then Party Secretary of Fuzhou, standing together with Xu Qiliang, then commander of the 8th Army. Over the subsequent 20 plus years, the two maintained close contact and were said to be like family. Qiliang quickly became the chief architect behind Xi Jinping's consolidation of personal power. During Xi Jinping's first term, Qiliang, ranked second among vice chairmen of the Central Military Commission, served as executive deputy head of the military reform leading group, becoming Xi's primary assistant in military reform. Meanwhile, then first vice chairman Fan Changlong served as the second deputy head. This demonstrated Xi Jinping's trust in Qiliang. Qiliang helped Xi secretly plan an anti-corruption campaign that swept across the entire military, strengthening power and eliminating potential rivals. In the subsequent purge, two former vice chairmen of the Central Military Commission were brought down, at least 60 generals were arrested, and more than 13,000 officers were punished. All arrests of senior generals were proposed by Qiliang, and the most sensitive cases were personally handled by him. For this purpose, he did not hesitate to mobilise the vast military intelligence system. By the time the Party Congress was held in October 2017, 80% of military delegates were attending for the first time. The alliance between Xi Jinping and Qiliang purged the military from within, consolidating Xi's power and authority in the armed forces. Afterward, Qiliang assisted Xi in formulating an unprecedented military reform plan. Through this reform, Xi dismantled the 4 general headquarters, breaking them into more than a dozen functional departments, reorganised the 7 military regions into 5 theatre commands, established a joint command centre, and appointed himself commander-in-chief. He firmly seized military power, fully implemented the responsibility system of the CMC chairman, and became the undisputed master of the armed forces. Qiliang also personally led the reforms of the Rocket Force and the Strategic Support Force. During Xi Jinping's second term, Qiliang was promoted to first vice chairman of the Central Military Commission. Fan Changlong retired, and Zhang Yuxia became the second vice chairman under Qiliang. In 2022, Qiliang retired but continued to move within the Rocket Force and Joint Staff Department systems as an advisor. Many officials who later fell from power in the Rocket Force and the former General Armaments Department had dealings with him. As Xi Jinping's ally, Qiliang himself was certainly safe. Xi Jinping generally does not move against such old comrades. This can be seen from Wang Qishan. However, this unpredictable situation likely increased Qiliang's psychological burden, preventing him from recuperating peacefully and objectively contributing to his premature death. Of course, no matter how powerful an official is, they are ultimately powerless before the laws of nature. If Wang Qishan assisted Xi Jinping in conducting anti-corruption within the party, and Li Zhanshu assisted Xi Jinping in strategic deployment toward becoming the supreme leader, then Qiliang was the Wang Qishan plus Li Zhanshu within the military. As for Zhang Yuxia, he is merely a beneficiary of this system. His influence on military reform and the military system is far inferior to that of Qiliang. Those who still fantasize that Zhang Yuxia could seize power basically do not understand CCP politics. All right, that's all for today. Please help, like, share, and follow. Thank you, everyone.